Why are Danish students so eager to put their studies on pause after high school, with over 90% of high school graduates choosing to take at least 1 year off before continuing education? What's driving Denmark's gap year culture?
I'm Lærke and I took 3 gap years. So I decided to work right after I graduated. And I feel like a lot of my friends, at least, used like half a year, maybe a year on just working. And then all the fun stuff kind of came.
So when do Danish students commence further education? In 2020, only 8% of high school graduates went directly into study after graduating.
The typical thing is that you work, you travel, and you visit the folk high school. That encapsulates the very notion of formation.
I applied for my boarding school, which is called Vejle Idrætshøjskole. It's just 150 young people, all with the interest of sports for my boarding school. I had like basketball and fitness and a lot of different subjects, including sports journalism actually, because I knew that maybe later on I wanted to apply to DMJX. And currently I'm studying communication at DMJX in Aarhus and doing my first intern, and I'm at a radio station, which I really like.
Lunken vand fra hanen og koldt vand fra køleren. Altså, det er 2 vidt forskellige ting.
What impact are gap years having on university dropouts? Denmark's Evaluation Institute found that each gap year taken before starting university lowers a student's dropout risk by 2.8%, even when accounting for age. The study suggested that providing time for reflection, gap years could strengthen commitment by helping students clarify their study choices.
There's a really need for the young people to have this unstructured experience where they themselves structure what they do. It matures them in a way that they make better decisions, no doubt about it.
If it wasn't for me doing this or me doing that, like I wouldn't be sitting right here, I wouldn't have my intern at the radio, I wouldn't have met so many nice people, everything like happening for a reason. And that's really something also that my gap years told me.
Det kan også noget. Så bliver det jo bare sådan lidt sværere også at komme igennem. Så varer det også lidt længere tid.
The reason why they take more years would be that there's a tendency among the youth right now to look upon their life as being stressed, look upon education as being accelerated. And I think the gap year is sort of a deceleration of their life into a mode where they can sort of achieve those personal goals they have in their life.
With the highest average age in the world for starting further education at 25, Denmark sees many students opting to begin their studies later into their 20s.
Because also I think it's very socially acceptable to take these gap years, whereas in some other countries you might be seen as a slacker or somebody who's not going anywhere.
So I would say it's this. There's a high degree of individualism behind the Danish way of looking upon values.
Opinions on gap years vary from student to student. While many embrace the opportunity of taking time off, the choice to take a gap year might not be for everyone.
I don't really think that's the solution. You gotta just like make a choice, sit down, see what's available, and then you just try something out.
It was probably more about just exploring the world and just trying things out, seeing what's out there.
You know, at first you were just a student, but then you kind of learned how to really be in the real world.
Yeah, you like worked with adults and learned a lot about yourself.
Simon, the one I was also a youth teacher with, I know that his parents started asking questions like, are you not going to start an education like after a year of taking a gap year? So I feel like it's different from where you come from and what family you come from.
Taking a gap year isn't necessarily the norm for all people. Students whose parents have only a primary school education are the most likely to begin university right after high school. About 40% of them do. This likelihood decreases as parents' education levels rise, with 15% of students whose parents have higher degrees choosing to start university immediately. Despite the varying opinions and views towards gap years, Lærke highlights the positives of time away from study.
When you go to school, you learn something specific. When you take the gap years, you learn something about yourself as a human, and you learn about other people. And I don't think necessarily that's something that you could read in a book.
As Danish students continue to opt for gap years after high school, the question remains, how will future students balance life experiences with entering the workforce? For now, gap years seem to play an essential role in the Danish journey into adulthood.